C'est à Redwood, juste au sud de San Francisco en Californie, que le développeur Trion Worlds travaille sur un nouveau MMORPG d'Heroic Fantasy, Rift Plains of Telara, dont la sortie est prévue pour 2011.
So Rift is a fantasy-based MMORPG. It takes place on the world of Telara. This world is the nexus of all these kind of planar powers. As a result, the different planes are trying to invade into Telara to take over the world, to consume this power for their own. The player is taking the part of a Guardian or Defiant who's struggling against this planar invasion to restore Telara, restore peace to the world, but make sure that their faction, that their ideology is what succeeds and what is kind of governing the new way that Telara will go after the Rift invasion is over.
Rift est donc un MMORPG situé dans un monde d'Heroic Fantasy. C'est un domaine plutôt classique.
So like a number of MMOs out there, Rift is a fantasy RPG. That means players will progress through the game, earn a number of different levels just from playing through, adventuring, doing things like quests, playing through dungeons with their friends, fighting other players in PvP combat in both instance warfronts or, open field RVR as well. One of the things that makes Rift very unique in the MMO play space is it's a dynamic world with dynamic content. You have all of these rifts opening up in the world, whether they're from the plane of fire, water, earth, air, death, or life, which are dynamic events in the open world that changes the world around them and draws other players in.
La nouveauté de Rift est son contenu dynamique. Dans la pratique, les joueurs peuvent à tout moment rejoindre les événements de Rift et concourir contre les démons et autres élémentaires. Ce qui est le plus marquant chez Trion, c'est la maturité du processus de développement du jeu. Ici, on a affaire à une équipe d'expérience et ça se voit.
So our design philosophy behind Rift is actually fairly simple. We're all veteran MMO developers, so we all have played a variety of different games, and there's just certain things we like to see in our new product. We're all about player choice. If you look at the class system, it's all about mixing and matching your character however you want to be. We want to give players the opportunity to pick and choose how their character develops and how they choose to solve problems, instead of saying, this is your one solution, go ahead and do it, off you go.
Il y a deux factions dans le monde de Telara, les gardiens et les défiants. Les gardiens regroupent ceux qui veulent rétablir le monde dans l'harmonie que désirent les dieux. Les défiants, eux, pensent que les gardiens vont échouer et misent tout sur la maîtrise d'une ancienne technologie.
Designing an IP where one never existed before is definitely a large challenge, especially in the fantasy space, which is a little crowded. You have a lot of users with a lot of expectations and a lot of games that they've already tried playing. And so you really have to make sure you're bringing something new. Otherwise, nobody's going to give you a second chance. And that's why we were, when we struck on the theme of faith versus technology with the Guardians versus the Defiants, and instead of being at a war where they wanted opposite goals, they're now at a war where they actually want the same goals. It's just that their methods have them incredibly at odds with each other, which is also different.
La religion et la technologie luttent donc pour affronter les rifts, un refrain familier dans le jeu vidéo. Mais c'est au niveau du système de classe que reposent les nouveautés.
The player takes the place of an Ascended Soul. The Ascended Soul has a number of different powers, the most potent of which is what we call the Soul Attunement System. While other games you decide to have one class, and you're stuck with that class from life till death, in Rift you juggle a variety of different classes. So when the player starts the game, they choose from one of four callings: warriors, rogues, mages, or clerics. Each one of these has a variety of different souls available to them. They can go ahead and mix and match the soul to fit their gameplay style, and as they progress through the game, they'll adventure and find more and more souls, allowing them to build more and more options to kind of have the flexibility of choice no matter where they are.
Le joueur reste cantonné dans son choix de départ, guerrier, voleur, mage ou clerc. Mais la combinaison des trois spécialisations, les âmes, et le nombre de points qu'il va allouer dans chacun, promet une multitude de possibilités. Le joueur est libre de modifier ses âmes pour changer son style de jeu, et il faut voir aussi que plusieurs configurations sont mémorisables. On peut changer rapidement entre deux combats. La liberté de customisation des âmes de son personnage est assurément l'un des points forts de Rift.
So one of the nice things about Rift's class system is while you still have the paradigm that you need somebody to support your group, somebody to be defensive to get the guy's attention, and other people to deal damage, it's not regulated to the normal warrior sits in front and takes shots on the chin where the healers heal and the mages throw fireballs. Each one of the callings, like I said before, have different souls in it. Each one of these souls fill a different role. So for example, we have souls in the rogue role like the Riftstalker allows you to be a much more defensive-oriented character. So you could actually say, oh, we don't have a warrior today. We're going to go ahead and we have a really good rogue. He's got a little bit of Riftstalker and some Blade Dancer. He's going to go and be our defensive guy in the dungeon. So even with a mage, for example, you can have a healer-oriented mage by using the Chloromancer, or you can use it in a secondary role where you're going to just take a little bit of that and instead take some high-powered offense in the form of a Pyromancer and support heal your class.
À côté de son système de Rift, le jeu proposera aussi du contenu typique pour un MMORPG.
So just like a lot of other MMOs, Rift offers a number of instance content and raids. So players can go ahead and they can play through the open world, the questing, the dynamic world, but they can also play in our dungeons and raid encounters as well.
Le PVP n'est pas en reste avec plusieurs idées originales qui devraient assurer une durée de vie conséquente.
We offer players the opportunity to go head-to-head against their opponents in what we call warfronts. Warfronts are instance PvP content with different gameplay modes, some unique to Rift, some that are very familiar to RTS or first-person shooter players like Capture the Flag.
Where we've got PvP looting, where you can kill other players and they can drop different things depending on what side they're on or depending on what class they are. Which it's all system loot, so the players aren't actually losing items, but hey, you get rewarded for it and it's a lot of fun when it happens.
Mais il reste encore du travail avant la sortie du jeu, et l'on sait que le lancement d'un MMORPG est une étape cruciale pour sa réussite.
So right now we are in a late alpha, really. And then from here, we start ramping up toward more and more alpha testers until eventually our alpha will give way to our beta events. And then our beta events will give way toward a big, huge open beta. And at that point, we'll end up launching the game. And we expect that it'll turn out pretty well. Our engineers are already loading down our servers with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of fake users. They've had bots stress testing our servers for months. So they're already simulating launch day load, they're simulating launch day scenarios. One of the greatest things about us all being here at Tryon is that, like I said, we have people who've worked on a couple of dozen MMOs before. And so for everybody, it's about taking what they've done in the past and making sure that we do it better.
Rift Plains of Telara promet des idées originales dans le monde des MMORPG, mais nul ne sait s'il pourra s'imposer face aux géants déjà en place. Rendez-vous en 2011 pour la sortie.
Only we can save Telara. Not Regulos himself will stand in our way. We are the chosen. We are the Guardian.